Thomas Hobbes was one of the most important English philosophers of the early modern period. He is best known for his political philosophy, especially his famous work Leviathan, 1651, in which he argued that a strong central authority is necessary to prevent chaos in society. Hobbes lived during a time of great political turmoil in England, including the English Civil War, and these experiences strongly influenced his ideas about human nature, government, and social order. His thoughts laid the foundation for modern political science and social contract theory. Early life and birth. Thomas Hobbes was born on April 5, 1588, in Westport, near Malmesbury, England. His birth year is historically significant because it coincided with the Spanish Armada's attempted invasion of England. Hobbes later remarked that fear and uncertainty marked his birth, famously saying that fear and I were born twins. His father was a poorly educated churchman who later abandoned the family after a scandal, leaving Hobbes to be raised by his uncle, who supported his education. Education and intellectual development. Hobbes was a gifted student from an early age. He attended Magdalen Hall, Oxford, where he studied classical literature, logic, and philosophy. At Oxford, Hobbes was dissatisfied with traditional Aristotelian philosophy, which dominated academic teaching at the time. Instead, he developed an interest in mathematics, science, and classical authors such as Thucydides, whose History of the Peloponnesian War Hobbes later translated into English. This translation reflected his early belief that history teaches valuable lessons about politics and human behavior. Career as tutor and scholar. After completing his education, Hobbes became a tutor and companion to the Cavendish family, a wealthy and influential noble family in England. This position allowed him to travel widely across Europe, where he met leading intellectual figures such as Galileo Galilei and René Descartes. These encounters deepened Hobbes's interest in scientific reasoning and influenced his belief that philosophy should be based on logic and systematic methods similar to those used in science. Philosophical views on human nature. Hobbes believed that human beings are naturally self-interested, competitive, and driven by desires for power, security, and survival. According to him, people are roughly equal in physical and mental abilities, which leads to competition and conflict. In the absence of government, humans live in what Hobbes called the state of nature, a condition where life is solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. This pessimistic view of human nature became one of the most distinctive aspects of his philosophy. Social contract theory. One of Hobbes's most influential contributions was his explanation of the social contract. He argued that to escape the chaos of the state of nature, individuals agree to surrender some of their personal freedoms to a governing authority. In return, the authority provides peace and security. This contract is not between the ruler and the people, but among the people themselves, who collectively authorize the ruler to govern. Hobbes believed this agreement was necessary for any stable society. Leviathan and political philosophy. Hobbes published his most famous work, Leviathan, in 1651. In this book, he argued strongly in favor of absolute sovereignty, stating that a powerful ruler is essential to maintain order and prevent civil war. He believed that rebellion against the sovereign was unjustified because it would return society to chaos. The title Leviathan refers to a biblical sea monster, symbolizing the immense power of the state. This work was controversial, especially because Hobbes supported strong authority at a time when monarchy was being challenged. Impact of the English Civil War. The English Civil War, 1642–1651, had a profound impact on Hobbes's thinking. Witnessing the violence and instability caused by political and religious conflict reinforced his belief that disorder was the greatest threat to human life. During this period, Hobbes lived in exile in France for several years, fearing persecution due to his political views. His experiences during the war strengthened his argument that peace and security must come before freedom. Religious views and controversy. Hobbes also wrote extensively on religion, which brought him into conflict with both religious authorities and philosophers. He argued that religious institutions should be subject to the authority of the state to prevent division and conflict. Many critics accused him of atheism, although Hobbes denied this claim. His views were seen as dangerous because they challenged the traditional power of the Church. Later life and death. In his later years, Hobbes returned to England and continued writing, despite facing criticism and censorship. He lived a long life and remained intellectually active well into old age. Thomas Hobbes died on December 4, 1679, at the age of 91, in Derbyshire, England. His longevity was remarkable for his time, and he left behind a body of work that continued to influence political thought long after his death. Legacy and importance. Thomas Hobbes is regarded as a founder of modern political philosophy. His ideas influenced later thinkers such as John Locke, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and even modern political theorists. Although many disagree with his support for absolute authority, his analysis of power, human nature, and social order remains highly relevant. Hobbes's work continues to be studied in philosophy, political science, and history around the world.